All right, so we'll start off our adventure. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the leash on the dogs just so that if I need a handle, I can kind of get a hold of them fairly quickly. Now, you know, what's gonna happen with this leash dragging around is it's gonna get hung up everywhere, okay? I'm willing to kind of take that amount of trouble over the trouble of not being able to get a hold of them if I needed to. Oh, come here, big girl. Oh, you're a fine animal. Oh my gosh. Let me grab my shotgun in case we run into any evildoers of the four-legged or two-legged type. And we're gonna head off in these woods. Oh, and I forgot Mr. No Name's with us too to kind of keep these dogs around. Come on, dogs. Now, after the first few minutes in here, if I don't feel like I'm having any trouble influencing the dogs, then I'm gonna take their leashes off. I just like to, right at the beginning stages, I like to be really careful. Now, my kennel is a really stimulus-rich environment. I mean, you know, I got all kinds of small challenges. I've got a lot of space. You know, I've got a pretty big little forest in my back, you know. But this is one of our favorite spots to come because it has such well-worn game trails, you know. So this is just a little trail that the deer use all the time. They keep it beat down. And I bring the dogs over here for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's an easy, cool place to walk. But number two, it gives me a chance to influence the dogs in the face of game animals, okay? You can influence them all you want at your park or in a mowed field or even in a pasture. But you know, then when you change environment, sometimes you can run into trouble. So we try to cover all our bases. So yesterday we were over in a big open field, a pasture actually with a bunch of cows. And today we've come over and decided to walk some deer trails. We try to give the dogs some experience in as broad a range of environments as possible. Now, as I'm walking, I'm just gonna practice calling them every so often. Here, boys! And they come, say, hey, I appreciate it. Well, hello, No Name, appreciate it. There's Lilac, appreciate it. Now, I gotta try to figure out where my little Jack Russell went, so I might need to use my, oh, here she is. She's coming along. Good. Now, nobody seems to be giving me a hard time. And after you've been around dogs a while, it doesn't take much for you to figure out whether they're in the mood to kind of dash off on you or not. And so these guys, it's pretty hot. They're fairly fatigued, so I don't think they're going to be trying to go anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and take their leashes off of them. Oh, and we'll just take off walking here. Come on, babies. Now, as we're walking, I'm not trying to micromanage the dogs. I'm really letting them explore as much as possible. I just don't want them to get away too awfully far. If I run up on something kind of interesting that I can make a small challenge out of, like say this log here, then, you know, I come over here, see if I can't get a couple of repetitions in. I'll get on the log myself. Oh, come here, babies. Oh, you're very smart dogs. Oh, No Name, everybody knows you can do a small challenge. Good. Come on, Lilac. Very nice. Now, these Catahoulas are known for climbing trees. So, like, as this video goes on, I'm sure you guys will be pretty impressed at how well this dog can navigate the environment. With Bailey, we have to be just a little bit more patient. Come on. And sometimes give her a little help. Come on, Bailey, you can do it. Very nice. Remember, guys, what you're doing when you're out and about is you have to have subjective standards, and you're rewarding the dog for making good effort. And what effort looks like is different from dog to dog. So for Lilac to get my attention, she has to basically be able to climb a tree like a bear, okay? Because she's so good at climbing. Whereas Bailey's not quite as good at climbing. Okay, so you know, I'll take, and I have a lower kind of a lower standard. As long as Bailey makes a good effort and seems calm and confident, then I'm happy with Bailey. Bailey's a real sweet dog. She's just kind of nervous. The Catahoula, she's not quite so sweet, and she's definitely not nervous. Okay, so we're just gonna come on through here. I'll try to clear some of these branches for the cameraman. Very nice. Very nice. Come on, dogs. Good dogs. Come on, come on. Oh, you're very good dogs. You're very good dogs. Very nice. Come on. Come on, come on, dogs. All right, be careful there, cameraman. There's lots of brush. Come on, dogs. Come on, Jazzy. What kind of noise is that, cameraman? Listen, I've never heard that noise on Mutual of Omaha. Never heard that noise on Animal Planet. You think you're in the camera person's union now or something? Very nice. Now we have to wait and let Jazzy catch up. Come here, Jazzy. I've been down, so when Jazzy catches me, come on, Jazzy. You got a little treat for her. Appreciate it. Bailey, Lilac, very good dogs. All right, let's get going again. Come on, dogs. Oh, you're a good girl, Jazzy. See, I tell Jazzy I appreciate it for stopping and checking in. Very good. Now these woods have opened up a little bit, so it's easy walking. My cameraman kind of gets, she kind of gets particular. And you fellas, listen, once you've been married 20, 30, 40 years, like you think you got your lady figured out, they always find something to be particular about. A couple of limbs in the face, a little bit of tripping here and there. I never know what's going to upset my cameraman. Lilac. Come on, Lilac, don't go too far. Oh, now look at that Catahoula coming back like a champ. Oh, now listen, guys, if you have a Catahoula and you're gonna let them off the leash, you better be in top-notch marathon form, okay? Because like if they decide to get after something, you're gonna have a hard time catching them. That's why you gotta do your yard work before you come out on your adventures. Jazzy, come on, come on. I wish there was a little bit better lighting so you guys could see all the deer tracks in here. I know it's hard. Have we lost the Jack Russell? Jazzy, come on. Here she comes. I appreciate that. Very nice. Oh, hello, Bailey. You a good dog, Bailey. And you a good dog, Lilac. Here, dogs, here, dogs. Come on, come on. Oh, you're very good dogs. All right. Still have a Jack Russell, still have a Catahoula, Mr. No Name and Bailey. Dang, we're doing pretty well. This trip is working out just like we wanted. The great thing about being in the forest is I think it's about 89 degrees out there in the field right now. And I mean, it's about 72 or 73 in here in the forest. And if you don't think that's a big difference, listen, it's a big difference, okay? And always understand, and I said this earlier in the video, but you really have to keep in mind that your perception of heat and the dog's perception of heat are not the same thing. Now, cold, listen, cold doesn't really bother dogs very much at all as long as they're moving. But the heat, you have to be very careful. And remember what I say about watching that fatigue meter. Watch that tongue. If that tongue starts hanging out a whole lot, that's the dog trying to dissipate heat, and you need to give them a break. When you're in here in the woods, like that tongue will get to a kind of a certain amount of engorgement, and it'll just kind of stay there. When we go back out in the field, you watch, if I let them run much, that tongue will steadily get bigger and bigger and bigger, and what that means is that they're having a hard time dealing with the heat. Now, what we usually have to watch out for right as we move into this area here is we almost always kick up some deer. If you go back about 8 videos, we were in here and I had a bunch of dogs and kicked up like a whole herd of deer. It was like 6 or 8 of them hopped up and run off, and luckily we were able to, like, get all the dogs squared away. But you got to watch; it can be tough. All right, now we're going to hop down into this little creek. Oh, and this is, what we're after. We're trying to get the broadest range of environmental socialization possible, okay? So we were out in the field, we're riding the 4-wheeler, we got in the brush, we got in the grass, then we just got into the cool forest with the dirt floor, and now we're gonna get in this little creek area, okay? And we're gonna walk around in the mud and the water. And as much as possible, I'm gonna try from getting too awful muddy. But that never happened. Now, for those of you who have been watching my channel a long time, I mean, you are fully aware of why I'm tromping around in this creek, okay? Let me show them, cameraman. Guys, this is the same basic dirt that's over there under the trees, except this dirt has got a lot more vegetative matter in it, and it's kind of decomposing, and it stays wet all the time, so has a different odor to it, it has a different texture to it, and it has a much different temperature to it. So when the dogs put their feet on it, you know how we're always talking about toes to nose stimulation? Okay, this is sending a lot different messages to the dog's brain. And when you're asking your dog to behave well, okay, like, you have to think about the environment that you're in. And you can do a great job in your kitchen, you can do a great job in your yard, a great job at training class, a great job at the park, but then when you take a vacation and you go to the beach, or you get on a boat, or you go to a national forest, the dog falls apart because the environmental stimulation is so much different. That's why we spend so much time with these dogs, exposing them to a broad range of environments, okay? And so, what the old saying is the only way to get used to sleeping in the rain is to sleep in the rain. Well, the only way to get used to and desensitized to having to perform in a wide range of environments is to have to perform in a wide range of environments. Come on, dogs. Come on, come on. Oh, there's a Catahoula. And there's a chocolate lab and a black lab, and I gotta find the Jack Russell, but I'm sure she's around here somewhere. But let's talk again about the importance of environmental socialization, okay? Now take this little creek or drainage ditch, whatever you want to call it, that we're in right now. Watch, if I walk on the side, like, see, I can be on this side and I can be on this side, and it's relatively firm, okay? But my cameraman, she's not quite as well socialized to walking in the mud as I am. And so a second ago, she was trying to walk backwards in the middle. Okay, now as soon as I got over here in the middle, my feet are literally stuck in this deep, ooey gooey clay mud. Okay, now there's no way for me to explain to someone who's never tried to walk in deep, ooey gooey mud what it feels like. You just have to do it. And over the course of time, you either understand that when you take steps in the ooey gooey mud, I see my shoes wanting to come off here, okay? You gotta be really careful or you're gonna lose a shoe or a boot, and that's very frustrating. Or you walk on the side where it's a little more firm. There's so many lessons like that in dog training, where, like, people think of the training as what they're teaching the dog. But what as a trainer are you really teaching a dog? Not much. You know, come, sit, down, stay, whatever. But that doesn't have a whole lot to do with living. What has to do with living is the dog's ability to get out and negotiate environments successfully and understand the difference between being up here on the dry ground, okay, where what they have to watch out for are sticker bushes and briars and stalbs stepping on things like this. And they need to understand as they go to come down to a creek bank, all of a sudden the traction differential is such that they might slide and fall. So they need to, you know, their body needs to get aware of that kind of activity. And then one of the things that freaks them out and makes them panic sometimes is their feet get in the mud and they start high stepping and they panic. You know, okay, and it just causes trouble. You see the same things in my old videos where I'm showing you about dogs learning to swim. See where they're beating the water with their paws? And that just lasts a little while. All you have to do is keep plugging away and exposing your dogs to a, you know, a broad range of environmental conditions. And the next thing you know, they'll be, you know, just about perfect at going wherever you want to go. All right, cameraman, are you doing okay back there? All right, we've got all dogs in sight except the Jack Russell. And listen, guys, that's kind of par for the course. So we're gonna try to get the Jack Russell back. Jazzy, come on, Jazzy. Come on, little Jazzy. Oh. Jazzy. Now this is the point where sometimes panic can set in, guys, because you keep counting dogs and you're supposed to have 4 in your count and you're down to 3. So we're gonna have to try to put on the eagle eyes and go with the double finger cross to figure out where little Jazzy is. Jazzy, come on. Come on, Jazzy. All right, now we are on the hunt for a Jack Russell. And I'm not sure where she's went. Now, I'm pretty sure she's around here somewhere because like we've worked a lot on being over here and her following me around. And she's pretty good at not going too far. But what I'll tell you what happens sometimes, guys, is see how these banks are like, they go down there. Sometimes if a little dog kind of gets off in a swag or a holler or in a creek bank, when you call them or even whistle for them, then like the sound will get to bouncing around, you know, and since this vegetation is so high, they can't really see where you are. So they start trying to track you down by the sound. And it'll sometimes take them a little while because the sound is bouncing constantly, you know, in a bunch of different directions. So I just have to kind of keep calling. I'm gonna switch to my big whistle. Come on, Jazzy. And here in a second, I would anticipate that, oh, there she is. Oh, you a good dog, Jazzy. See, I've got pretty good faith that Jazzy's not in any way going to try to run off, you know. But it doesn't mean she can't get lost, she can't get confused. Now, that brings us to another point when you're out adventuring. Sometimes, like if your dog gets out of sight, you'll panic. And when you're calling a dog, you have to think in terms of making yourself sound inviting. You know, and if you start to sound like you're panicked or you're mad, well, the dog's afraid to come back. So if I was like, Jazzy, come here. Jazzy, Jazzy, come. It wouldn't work. I've got to be like, come on, Jazzy, I'm going to go do something fun. Come on, Jazzy, come on, come on. And she'll probably pop back up. Come on, Jazzy. Where'd she be at? There she is on the far side of the creek. Now, yet another thing you'll run into. Like, see, Jazzy's little, and these other dogs, how they can just jump right over the creek or run right through it. It's not such a big deal. Jazzy, come over here, cameraman, let me show you. Oh, Jazzy kind of ran along this far bank and then came over here where she could hit these roots and not get too awfully wet. You know, look at this dog. It's a bigger dog. She doesn't really care. Again, just talk about how like big these things are in relation. Now, to this little dog, like look, this whole creek You can't hardly see her because these dogs are in the way. But so here's this little dog. See how she fits all the way down in this little creek? Okay. Well, that would be like you being in a creek that was over your head. Now, to no name, it's just barely like shoulder height, and that's a completely different perception from the dog's point of view. You know. So you have to try to not get mad at them, because things that are easy for you are not always easy for them. All right, now what I was saying before my cameraman got trapped back there is that things that are easy for you, you know, from a physical standpoint, it's not necessarily easy for the dog. And then some of the things that you wouldn't think to worry about, you got to worry about, because from the dog's idea, it looks like a good idea. And let's see if I can find. There's a couple of big holes around here, and I'll show you what I mean. Like to a Jack Russell, you know how you wouldn't think anything about going into a cave like as big as your head? Like you'd walk in there and explore. Well, Jack Russells do that all the time. They might be fooling around out here in this creek, and some critter has dug them a hole over here, and the Jack Russell's like, well, I wonder what's in that hole. They just take off and go in the hole, and what they don't realize is there's something else. Something that already lives there, you know. Next thing you know, they're squabbling with it, and maybe they can't get out, you know. So again, like, you always have to take into account all of the environmental factors if you want to be able to adventure safely. Alrighty, well, that's a good little creek adventure. Let's go up here and see what else we can find to do. Oh, what are you gonna get, Jazzy? You gonna go get him? What are you gonna get? Get him. Get him. Get him. Hey, Jazzy has found something that she wants to get. I don't know what it is. She's fired up. Normally, she'll just lay down on my gas tank and kind of ride. She's got super good balance, you know, but right now she's giving me a really hard time trying to jump down. So I'm having to keep the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip on her. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, nerd? Hang on, cameraman. Watch, there's a limb. There's a limb. Oh, you get a limb? Gonna get a little bumpy there, cameraman. And the dog's trying to get away. Whoa! As we were coming out of our little creek adventure there, my cameraman was like, hey, stop, let's do another brush pile challenge. If you knew my wife and knew how terrified she was of snakes, you would know that wasn't true. But she's a trooper, so she's gonna videotape me as I try to conquer this new brush pile that you guys have never seen before, and we'll see which dogs can conquer it with Uncle Stonnie. Come on, Jazzy. Come on, Lilac, you can do it. Come on, Bailey. Now Jazzy has been trying to get off my four-wheeler for like 10 minutes. So she's found something. I'm not sure if she's gonna come up here and join me or not. But I have to be very careful. Scope out a good path and then see who can come up here and find me. Oh, come on, Lilac. You're supposed to be known for climbing brush piles and trees and stuff. Oh, look, Lilac's gonna come up here. Oh, come on, Jazzy, you can do it. Come on, Lilac. Who's the best climber? Who's gonna come see Uncle Stonnie on the brush pile? First one up gets a treat. Come on, babies. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Oh, and look who won. Obviously Lilac. Oh, these dogs are climbing machines. Very nice. Not to be outdone, No Name says, well, I'll get up here, boss. Now, so here's what we have to do. You know how I'm always talking about grading on a subjective scale, okay? We're gonna sit up here and chill for a minute. Can you see Bailey there, cameraman? We're just gonna wait and kind of give Bailey some time to make it up here on her own. And then if she doesn't make it all the way up here, then what I'll do is I'll just move myself down the brush pile so that she at least leaves with a feeling of success. Now Jazzy should be able to get all the way up here. Jazzy, come on, what are you doing? Oh, look at Bailey gonna make the big effort. Good girl, Bailey. Now what Bailey's done here is she's started to make a good effort, but she's picked a poor line. You know from the other brush pile videos how I'm always talking about you have to pick a good line when you're gonna, you know, get out and negotiate a complicated obstacle like a brush pile. And so this Catahoula, who has a little bit better natural ability at not only using her body, but probably kind of problem solving, she came right up the right side of the brush pile where there was the best footholds. And Bailey has went up the left side, which is not quite as good. So she's gonna take her a minute. Look at this. Look at this Catahoula just standing on that burnt log like that. That's awesome. Bailey, Bailey, come on. You can do it. Now look, so Bailey she's just right here. If she would just turn around, watch, I'm gonna bend down here a little bit. Bailey, oh. Now what I can't do is let Bailey, you know, like into the brush pile challenge feeling like she didn't succeed. So I'll just move myself down a little bit and make it easier for her. Come on, Bailey, you can do it. And this is a concept called reframing, okay? So I had an idea in my mind what I would consider successful in relation to the brush pile. And so I had 2 dogs, they did it. And so I was successful. And then I just reframed my perception of success for this dog, and now I've been successful with this one. Jazzy, come on. Come on, Jazzy. And I'll do the same thing with Jazzy. Come on, you can do it. Now see right here, Jazzy has, remember we were talking about physical differences. Jazzy has much more of a gulf there. Like the distance between that log and this little outcropping here, that's a lot more for Jazzy than it is for these other puppies. You know, that's like about 100% of Jazzy's body. So what I have to do is come down here and maybe help her a little bit. Come here, little Jazzy, you can do it. Show her where to put her foot. Come on, you can do it, or maybe we can go over to this line. Come on, come on. Come on. See, and she wants to come over here. She's just not sure how she's gonna get there. So maybe she just needs a little helping hand. Look, there you go. There you go. Very nice, Jazzy. All right. Jazzy says, no, I'm going the other way. Come on, nerd. Get up there. Very good. Very good. Come on, you can do it. Jack Russells are usually pretty hard chargers when it comes to climbing stuff. So I think if I can just get Jazzy up here to where, watch out now, man, come on. Go on, No Name, before Jazzy gets you. I think if I just get Jazzy up here to where she thinks she can do it, then she'll probably start hopping all over this brush pile. Good, I'll give her a good little treat. Very nice. Give her a little treat, very nice. And then I'll come on back up here. Very nice. Oh, come on, Jazz, you got one more step. There you go. Good dog. Maybe we can get all the way. Looky there. You can do it, Jazzy. There's a little help. Look, who's king of the brush pile, or queen of the brush pile. Oh, and look, Bailey's almost made it. Come on, Bailey. You're so close. Very nice. Come on, Bailey, Bailey, Bailey. Good dogs. Of course, my dog is going to come up here and push everybody out of the way. All right. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a brush pile challenge. We had 3 get all the way to the top, 1 with a little help, and 1 who's made a good effort there. So I'll just call that a win. All right, big time adventure in the woods. Now we're gonna have a big time adventure in the pond. Now again, I want you guys to think about how this experience is different for everyone involved. You know, like Jazzy, super brave, but she's only this tall. The Catahoula is super brave, super fit, it's got a lot of endurance. Bailey, she's a great swimmer. She's been swimming in this pond a lot of times, but she likes to stay pretty close, you know, and she's not super fond of the mud getting all in her paws. So when you're out and you're socializing, especially if you have more than one dog, allow them to enjoy the experience in their own way. It's really not fair, you know, like if you're out and you have multiple dogs of your own, or if you're, you know, spending time with some friends who have dogs, it's not really fair to compare the dogs against each other. You just have to help each dog do the best that it can in the environment that you're in. And some of them do better in some environments than others. All right, so we'll let them kind of swim around here while I'm fooling with this long line. Now, this is the problem with the long line, guys. They get in a lot of trouble. Go over there and sit, watch those dogs, cameraman. I might be here for 2 or 3 hours. This long line is so tangled up. Might as well watch those dogs play. Puppies, little puppies. I had to run up to the truck. Oh, and get rid of my phone before I drowned another phone. I've drowned quite a few over the years. All right, now see, watch. Remember I was telling you about different dogs. It's a different experience for each dog. Well, this Catahoula just jumps right in the kayak, and Bailey's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get in there or not. Oh, and look at this one. Thinks she's gonna get away from me. Nope. Come on. Come on, nerd. Get in there. Okay. All right, Catahoula. Oh, speaking about drown proofing, get up on the boat, dog. Come on, get up on the boat. Good thing you've been drown proofed. All right. Now, pretty standard here. We're just gonna kind of work on getting these dogs to get on the kayak and stay on the kayak. And what's gonna happen a few times, they're gonna jump off. And when they jump off, we're gonna help them back on. Come here, nerd. Come here. Get back in here. Did you get that? Almost lost Jazzy in the seaweed. That's too funny. All right, come on, guys. It's not so bad. Stay on there, nerds. Now, when you're working on staying in the kayak, in basic acclimation, guys, don't get upset when they jump out of the kayak. Sometimes they jump out of the kayak because they're nervous, sometimes simply because they're excited. But what you're trying to do is you're trying just to get them to relax and enjoy the motion of the water. It can be very unsettling to them at first, and then sometimes the exact opposite's happening. Sometimes they just love to swim, and so they keep jumping off the kayak just so they can go do some more swimming. So sometimes you get mistakes that are based in fear and anxiety. Sometimes you get mistakes that are based in exuberance. Either way, don't sweat it, because it gets better with every trip to the lake or the pond or the river, you know? Good. And if you're only doing one dog, of course you could be in the kayak with them. Sometimes I have people visiting me, and I'll put them in the kayak since they're not very good kayakers, and I'll pull them around with the long line. Now, so look, so this dog jumped out for whatever reason. No big deal. We're just gonna redirect her right to the side of the boat. Show her how to get back up in there, pulling herself back up onto the boat. Now she's You know, something I think about today, cameraman, is we kind of have a feminine crew here. I usually don't have so many girls out on adventure. You're some pretty girls, though. You very pretty girls, you are. You sure are. Very nice. Now, I have to be careful in how encouraging I sound when I talk, because if you're like working on this and you talk to the dogs in a way that makes them feel like you're super excited with them, then a lot of times they'll just jump out of the kayak just simply to come to you. Good. And I don't want their confidence to be tied up in me personally. So you'll notice that's why I kind of, as they come close to me, I shuttle them on out into the pond, let them know that they're okay. They don't need me to be safe and secure. Now look at Jazzy, she's thinking about jumping out. Remember when we were in the pool and like I was talking about how sometimes the dogs, they'll see the bank and they'll think it's closer than it is. And so if they fall out of the boat, they'll make up their own mind as to where to go. And we want to get any of those kind of misconceptions addressed before we're actually out in any kind of deep or fast moving water. So all we're going to do here is just kind of, nope, see, that's what I'm talking about. Jazzy, come on. Jazzy, come on, come on. Come on, Jazzy. Come on, Jazzy, you can do it. See, now Jazzy's smart. She jumped out of the boat because she thought she was by a little island where she could get to the island. And then she realized that little island was a lot farther than it looked. And so she turned around and she came and found the boat. Now watch her. She's probably going to lounge a little bit now because she realizes jumping out of the boat, let me turn her around. Just a second ago, she was full of energy. She's going to make her own decisions. She's an independent woman. Watch her now. She's going to settle right down, stay in that boat. It might be Lilac's turn next, though. And look at them checking out Mr. No Name, wondering if they should go do whatever Mr. No Name's doing. And I'm like, no, not yet. So watch, I'm gonna send them back out there. Good. And all I'm kind of doing is waiting for them to settle down. Look at Lilac. Where are you going? Nope, you come here. So I'll control Lilac and I'll control the boat. Oh. And see, Lilac came and found me. When she finds me, I can help her back into the boat. And there's another life lesson learned. Oh. And there's Bailey. So now Bailey's learned a little life lesson. This is what we call learning by doing, guys. And just like when we were over in the woods, hey, get out of my long line, dude. Just like we were over in the woods and I was telling you when, Jazzy kind of got off in the brush and I couldn't see her, don't panic. If you're working on this boating stuff and you panic, you're just gonna make the dogs feel afraid and feel like they can't trust you, I want the dogs to realize I wouldn't put them in a situation that's not safe. I wouldn't put them in a situation where I'm not doing, the same thing. I think that's real important with the dogs. You be fair with them and be honest with them and explain to them that some things might be a little scary in the beginning. Some things might not even be very much fun in the beginning, but they just have to get done if you're gonna lead an adventurous life. Very nice. Now these dogs are doing pretty well and I'm about as stinky and wet as I can be. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk out of this pond this way. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and y'all check back next week and maybe these dogs will be on it. Whoa! Oh my gosh, I'm getting deep, cameraman. Maybe these dogs will be on a big adventure in the river or the lake because they've just about got this licked. Come on, dogs. Very nice. Come on, come on. Good dogs. Oh, y'all are so smart and brave.